Boris Pistorius just publicly humiliated Ursula von der Leyen. And Germany's defense minister is not backing down. If you want the freshest German political analysis delivered daily, hit that subscribe button now. German Daily Coffee is bringing you everything as it happens. So here is the bombshell. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius has delivered a brutal public rebuke to European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen after she told the Financial Times that Europe is developing pretty precise plans to send troops to Ukraine. Pistorius did not mince words. He said the European Union has no responsibilities and no competences when it comes to deploying troops, for anyone or for anything. That is a German minister telling the Commission President she is talking nonsense. That she has no authority. That she should stop. And he went further. Pistorius said it is fundamentally wrong to discuss troop deployments publicly before sitting down at the negotiating table with all parties involved. So not only does von der Leyen lack the authority to promise troops, she is actively undermining negotiations by running her mouth to the press. That is a devastating criticism. That is Pistorius saying von der Leyen is damaging Germany's strategic position by speaking out of turn. The context makes this even more explosive. Von der Leyen gave her interview to the Financial Times on Sunday. She claimed European capitals are drawing up plans for a multinational troop deployment to Ukraine as part of post-conflict security guarantees. She said the force would potentially include tens of thousands of European-led troops backed by US capabilities. She was presenting this as a done deal. As something Europe has already agreed to. As something inevitable. But Germany, the most powerful country in Europe militarily and economically, immediately shut her down. Pistorius made his comments during a visit to an arms factory in Troisdorf on Monday, less than 24 hours after von der Leyen's interview. That shows this was coordinated. That Berlin made a deliberate decision to publicly contradict the Commission President. That Germany is drawing a red line. Pistorius emphasized that apart from the fact that the EU has no authority or competence regarding the deployment of troops, regardless of who or what, I would refrain from confirming or commenting on such considerations in any way. He said there are ongoing considerations, but I think it would be totally wrong to discuss this publicly at this point. That is Pistorius acknowledging that yes, European countries are discussing this. But von der Leyen has no business revealing those discussions. She is not part of the decision-making process. And she needs to stay in her lane. The legal point is crucial. The European Union does not have its own army. It does not have command authority over national armed forces. It cannot deploy troops anywhere. Only individual member states can do that. So when von der Leyen talks about European troops being sent to Ukraine, she is speaking for countries whose military she does not control. She is making promises she cannot keep. And Pistorius is calling her out for it. This also exposes deep tensions between Germany and the Brussels bureaucracy. Von der Leyen is German. She was Merkel's defense minister before becoming Commission President. She has close ties to the German establishment. But Pistorius, who serves under Chancellor Merz, is making clear that von der Leyen does not speak for Germany. That she has gone rogue. That Berlin will not be bound by her statements. The timing is also significant. This clash happened just days after Trump met with European leaders to discuss Ukraine. Trump has been pushing for a quick end to the war. He has hinted at cutting American support if Europe does not step up. And von der Leyen, perhaps trying to prove Europe's commitment, started talking about deploying troops. But Germany immediately pushed back. Because Germany knows that deploying troops to Ukraine is politically toxic. That German voters do not want their soldiers sent into a war zone. That the AfD would use it to attack Merz. And that Russia would view it as direct NATO involvement. Moscow has repeatedly rejected any presence of foreign troops in Ukraine. Putin has said it would be seen as an act of war. So von der Leyen casually announcing plans to send European troops is incredibly reckless. It could provoke Russia. It could escalate the conflict. And it puts Germany in an impossible position. Because if Europe does send troops and Russia retaliates, Germany would bear the brunt of the consequences economically and militarily. The other problem is that von der Leyen has a history of overstepping. She constantly acts as if the Commission has powers it does not have. She makes grand announcements about European policy without consulting member states. She positions herself as if she is the president of Europe rather than the head of an administrative body. And national governments, especially Germany, are getting sick of it. If you want to stay on top of whether this rift between Berlin and Brussels gets worse or whether von der Leyen backs down, make sure you are subscribed to German Daily Coffee. We are bringing you fresh updates every single day because this is about who actually runs Europe. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment telling me whether you think von der Leyen should resign after this humiliation. Because Pistorius just destroyed her credibility, and Germany is making clear Brussels does not call the shots.